Hello, everyone. This is Jonas Jinken, and I'm a master's student at Grand Canyon University. And my topic for today will be discussing 8 security failures um, within cybersecurity, and relate these security failures to the SIA triad, with the SIA, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and equally explain specific design violations and recommend design principles needed for remote workers. So the first thing I want to say is the 8 security failures relating to cybersecurity. We have things like malware. When we talk of malware, we are talking of all sorts of attacks with which might be ransomware. They can be uh, ransomware, we have spyware, we have viruses, we have worms. All these are things which affect our internet services. They affect corporate networks, and they affect as well as they affect equal things like even our personal computers. We have things like we have another form of security failure is phishing attacks. Phishing attacks are attacks whereby an individual is sent an email with an attachment on it. You open this attachment, and the virus which is embedded into that attachment affects your computer. We have man in the middle. A man in the middle of attack is an attack where an attacker sits between a two persons communication, two people communication, and sniff or redirect that communication to them. Generally, we look at this within the client and the server interfaces or client and server environments, where a hacker can actually breach security and redirect communication from the from the server to they themselves, or from the client to themselves. We have privilege escalation. This is where users can escalate privileges or um, breach security and get access to certain level of files which they are not privileged to have. And we have a breach of internal security, which is almost the same, where a user can actually steal credentials and access certain level of documentation which they are not supposed to. Well, at this level, probably we might want to look at data labeling and security clearance levels, where someone with a lower security clearance level can actually, someone with public trust, for example, can actually access documentation for people or for documents labeled as top secret. And we have denial of service attacks. Denial of service attacks are where a hacker actually seizes your laptop, or ensures that they launch attack from one computer to the other, thereby preventing us from having access to our resources. We equally have distributed denial of service attacks, where actors are recruited around the world, and they actually try to breach or to attack a particular server with requests coming into a particular server, which will flood that server and make it ineffective or irresponsive. We have advanced persistent threats. Advanced persistent threats are like state actors, where nation states can actually sponsor certain individuals to launch attacks on other nations. We know of China, we know of Russia, that they're always out there doing everything to breach or to spy the U.S. We know of the 2016 U.S. elections, where some Chinese servicemen were actually recruited to breach the voting system, and it resulted to all what we know. The next aspect of my presentation will be security related breaches, security breaches that these individuals can have on the SIA. The SIA is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and these are the core security principles. if for security to advance, or for us to ensure or to maintain appropriate security, we must ensure confidentiality, which is making sure that only individuals who have the ability to access our information are given that access to. And so, for us to prevent individuals from not having access to our data, we have to encrypt the data. Confidentiality goes with secrecy or privacy. We equally have integrity, meaning that data should not be altered. If I'm sending an email to my professor, this email can only, the content of that email should only be seen by my professor and no other person. And in order for me to do that, I have to encrypt that email and create a password, then hash that password and scramble that password in such a way that it becomes human inreadable. It should be inreadable to humans. But when my professor gets that email and they do a hash value of that of the password, they should be able to see what I created as a password and open that email attachment. And availability, our system should always be available whenever we need it. Say, for example, a mobile telephone operator giving us internet services. These internet services should be available 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So these are some of those principles that might affect confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The next item will be looking at specific design principles that can be violated. So if confidentiality is violated, it means that individuals who are not privy to our information will be able to get our information, and still it can result to data theft or data leaks. It can result to financial losses to an organization. It can result to loss of intellectual property rights. It can equally result to compliance issues, compliance fines. And the last aspect will be looking at certain design principles for remote workers. We know that remote workers are these individuals that work from home. So the organization should be able to write principles, to come out with laws, to come out with policies that will guide what these remote workers can do. Write policies, change their policies from in office to remote working policies. However, what are they supposed to do? They are supposed to implement VPNs, virtual private network services, that will allow these employees to be able to access resources within the servers of the organization and be able to work and do their work as required of them. So thank you so very much. This is what we had for you for today. Really appreciate it.